Alrighty, you guys. We are live. As always, can we do a mic test? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if we're sounding good. Thanks to everybody that's already in here. Kenyon Perry, I appreciate you, man. Iverson Vlogs, I appreciate you, bro. Shout out to my guy, Super Mario Hoops 24. Says W, I fear. Chris, what's up, man? Appreciate y'all being here. Let me fix my screen here. Shout out to my guy Ty Guy Hoops, popping in to spread positive energy. Much love, brother. Much love to all you guys. Appreciate you watching me. I wish we were going live for a post NBA Finals game, but that clearly is not the case. Shout out to my guy Jam. What's up, bro? How you guys doing? Thanks to everybody that's in here. We're gonna get started in a few minutes. I always say this, but I always say I don't know how long I'm gonna be live for, and then I end up going live for over an hour. But I just want to kind of just talk about some things that are obviously being reported, especially like today with the whole Suns game 7 COVID thing and all that. I kind of just wanted to say my piece on some of this stuff. And honestly, guys, we're just going to be talking if you and I were in front of each other, just talking basketball. That's I just wanted to say my piece, talk about it, and hopefully I don't really have to talk about much of this stuff again. But I will say this: we will talk about DeAndre Ayton. We'll talk about the Suns off season. We're going to talk about Robert Sarver and everything. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. Even if it's not Suns related, if you guys want to talk some NBA off season, if you guys want to talk about the draft, I'm not a draft expert by any means, but I do have some prospects and some notes and everything that I really like. So feel free to ask me something. And no alcohol tonight, but if you guys got a drink, you guys know me, I love Sprite, so I'm going to be drinking some Sprite. Pop them if you got them. And yeah, we'll get this thing started. Also got a water here, and hopefully I didn't just get the hiccups. Super Mario Hoops says, trust me, guys, this is going to be a quick stream. SpongeBob narrator 2 hours later. By the way, if you guys want a great follow for current day basketball knowledge and NBA history, especially the NBA history part, that's my guy, Super Mario Hoops. Go subscribe to him. Check him out on YouTube. Follow him on Twitter and all that good stuff. But yeah, guys, let's talk about it. So I meant to make a video. Unfortunately, we're going to start with Robert Sarver. I don't really want to start with Robert Sarver. We're going to start with Robert Sarver. I kind of just want to say my piece on this and move on. This actually kind of came out like a few weeks ago, and I do have some screenshots and some tweets. You guys have obviously known about the investigation and everything that's been happening for a while. But recently, and I'll pull up the tweet here. This comes from Barry M. Bloom, who says NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, in a sidebar conversation at his press conference tonight, said that the Suns' investigation involving owner Robert Sarver is highly complex, but, quote, should be resolved shortly. It's been ongoing all NBA season. So who knows what the hell that means? Who knows if it will shortly be resolved or if it's going to be another few months before it's going to be resolved. And look, we obviously don't know what's been happening. We know that tons of employees and former employees have been interviewed, and there's been harassments claimed and all this bad stuff, and it doesn't surprise me when it comes to Robert Sarver. And look, I wish everybody that is involved the best, and I hope that this, situation works itself out, and I hope that there is justice to those people if this stuff is true. But honestly, guys, I feel like it's going to either it's going to end one or two ways. Either he's not going to be proven guilty or whatever, and he will get off the hook for all of this, or due to these allegations, he will probably step down or sell the team or just move on and not be our owner anymore. Now, I know Phoenix Suns fans. Let's say that he is guilty or he steps down or sells the team. Suns fans are going to cheer and scream, yes, Robert Sarver is no longer our owner. the Phoenix Suns are going to win a championship now because we don't have a greedy owner. Take a deep breath, guys. Relax. We're going to have to first off see who's going to own our team after that and what his or her vision will be. And it still all starts with our general manager, James Jones, and our team president and the other GMs and front office people. Sure, the owner can say, I want this done, I want that done, and here's a whole bunch of money. You know, we're going to be like Steve Ballmer and the LA Clippers and say, hey, here's a whole bunch of money, put us over the salary cap, buy a bunch of players. That could be a possibility, but again, it's kind of all comes down to James Jones and his team. So yeah, like, do I want Robert Sarver to, step down and sell the team? Yeah, I do. I mean, like, I don't think I hate him as much as other people do. Do I feel like he gets a huge portion of the blame? Yeah. And do I really agree with everything that gets said about Robert Sarver? Probably, but I just look at it like he's not the one out there playing the games. He's not the one, to our knowledge, telling James Jones and everything what to do. So we'll just have to see. But I just wanted to kind of go over that. And then there's, again, here's this tweet if you guys missed it. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver in a sidebar conversation at his press conference said that the investigation involving owner Robert Sarver is, quote, highly complex and, quote, should be resolved shortly. It's been ongoing all season. Then this was written today in The Athletic. Oh, nope, that's another quote. We're going to talk about that later, the whole Suns Game 7 COVID stuff. But yeah, there was something that he said kind of at the end here. Adam Silver said there are hundreds of people who are involved but need to be interviewed, and we also want to make sure we protect the rights of everyone involved. So, that's a great thing to say. But then he says, so these things by nature, I know what frustrates people do seem to take a lot of time, but we're certainly getting very close to the end. So I don't know if he said that just to say like, yeah, we're working on it and we're investigating and it's going to be, and like, I don't know if he just said that just to say it, or if Adam Silver's being 100% serious by saying, yeah, this is getting close to the end. I don't know. And look, I really like Adam Silver to an extent. There are times where I feel like Adam Silver needs to be more vocal concerning like maybe officiating during games or controversial plays, or I just feel like he maybe needs to be a little more vocal. I respect Adam Silver for all the changes and the ideas that he comes up with and always trying to improve the best sport and the best league in the world, the National Basketball Association. But sometimes I wish he was a little more vocal. So I guess it was good that he did comment on the whole Robert Sarver stuff. But again, maybe he was just saying that just to say it. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. And again, I wish everybody involved that there's justice and that, it all works itself out. And maybe one day Robert Sarver will no longer be our owner. And maybe this new owner will come in here and do the whole Steve Ballmer approach or the Warriors approach and go super high over the luxury tax and buy a bunch of players. And I don't know. Just speaking my mind. We're just talking here, you guys. I'm going to take another sip of my Sprite. That's kind of my whole like rant, I guess you will, on the whole Robert Sarver thing. What's up, Roy? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate everybody that's being in here. Once again, we just talked about the Robert Sarver stuff. We're going to talk about the Suns' apparent reported Game 7 COVID outbreak, and we're going to talk DeAndre Ayton. We're going to talk Suns offseason, and just really whatever you guys want. So feel free to ask me some questions. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. So Jam asked a question that I really don't know the answer to this, but he says Robert Sarver owns about 35%. Well, I can't even click on his comment because my mouse isn't working. Excuse me. Robert Sarver owns about 35% of the team, correct? Well, if that is true, that's a pretty damn high percentage because he's our owner, and he's like the face of the Suns ownership team, to my knowledge. At least he has been for the past 10 years, because every time the NBA media talks about him, Robert Sarver's name pops up. Ooh, and I wanted to say one more thing about Robert Sarver. And shout out to Dave King and the Suns solar panel podcast. They mentioned this kind of in the last moments of their most recent podcast. Dave King said something along the lines that, like, there was like the season ticket holder thing or something. I'm probably butchering this. And apparently his signature wasn't on there or something like that, where like season ticket holders had something signed and apparently his name wasn't on there. I don't know if that's a huge deal. That could be just hoopla, but I did find that interesting when Dave talked about that. So, but again, if Robert Sarver does own about 35% of the team, it sure feels like a lot more. Roy says Suns Geek for Suns owner. That'd be amazing. I wouldn't even know where to begin. And you know what? It's awesome. Oop, I clicked the wrong button on my computer. We're having issues here. We're having technical issues. Okay. Anyways, I've talked about this before, and it's off seasons like this upcoming one where, as awesome as it would be to make the decisions for the Suns and trade players and sign contracts, I don't know if I would want to do that. That's what James Jones and his whole team get paid millions of dollars to do. But some of these decisions are tough, guys. This isn't like a video game. This isn't like NBA 2K, where at the click of the button, you can trade your 23-year-old center who you drafted first overall in 2018. There's a lot to this, you guys. And I think sometimes basketball fans forget that. I just wanted to say that. This stuff, and look, I'm not saying James Jones is right about everything. I'm not saying Robert Sarver's a good owner, and I'm not saying what Steve Ballmer and the Clippers are doing, or the Warriors or the Celtics, what they're doing is right. Which, I mean, they're both in the NBA Finals, so maybe what they did is right. But just remember, guys, there's a lot to these things. There's contracts involved. There's family members. There's player feelings and all that. And some of the stuff, it gets complicated, you guys. It really does. So I don't know. I don't know. Let's move on, though. I just kind of wanted to say my piece about the Phoenix Suns reported COVID outbreak during Game 7 of the semifinals. In other words, the worst Phoenix Suns playoff game in franchise history. And let me just start off by saying this. I had a couple people who I will not name in my comment section very upset with me because I was, poking fun and making fun of the Suns for losing in the way they lost. And they even threatened to unsubscribe because I keep talking about the Suns' worst playoff game in franchise history. Long story short, it's my channel. I can talk about whatever the hell I want on here. Secondly, we're going to be talking about this for the next 10 years. So that's a news flash for you people who are in my comments section saying, "Oh, you need to quit talking about Game 7, bro. They lost. Let's move on." I don't know. We are going until the Phoenix Suns win the NBA championship and make us forget about this pathetic, terrible Game 7 loss. We're going to continue talking about this for years. And even if we do win the championship, I feel like we will still go back and remember, oh man, you guys remember that second round series when we lost to the Mavericks and the way we went out? Psh. Yeah, just saying, guys. Just like kind of how nowadays we still somehow talk about, the last 10 years and how we were in the lottery most of those years. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to sound petty. I'm not trying to sound salty. I'm not trying to sound like I know everything. I'm not trying to come on here and say that my opinion is right and I know everything about the Suns, but I tell it how it is, you guys. And if that's not your cup of tea, then there's plenty of other Suns content out there that you guys can go subscribe to. So that's my rant about that. And And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on things, guys. I'm going to be wrong from time to time, but that's why we talk basketball. I want to tell you guys the truth. I want to tell you guys how I feel. And now let's get back on topic. And I will address the comments, so feel free to ask questions and stuff. Let me know. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the whole excuse me, on the whole Robert Sarver stuff. By the way, speaking of Sprite, have you guys seen those stupid challenges where like they have people chug a whole thing of Sprite and try not to burp? I've kind of wanted to always try that, but I feel like I would lose instantly. Anyways, here is the Suns COVID-19 outbreak thing. A league spokesman told The Athletic, and I quote, "The NBA has seen no evidence to suggest any rules violations by Suns players or staff. A league source added, the NBA could always revisit the situation if new information emerged." Then apparently somebody said, "I think it's very clear that nobody wanted to report stuff with knowledge of the Suns' positive test, who is not authorized." And this is where it gets dicey. "It was so bad, in fact, that all season and exit meetings were held remotely over fear of further spread." Now, before we read the rest of this quote, I will kind of agree on that. Let me reread it. Let me reread this part. "It was so bad, in fact, that all season end exit meetings were held remotely over fear of further spread." You guys can go back. There is a interview with Monty Williams, and it was done remotely. There was no media in there. I think he was probably in his office in the Suns practice facility. So I will say that that is true. And then, as much as Phoenix Suns fans want an answer, I don't think any Suns players did any exit interviews to my knowledge. And if they did, it was done remotely. And they probably didn't say too much for me to even report on it or make a video. I think they did have exit interviews, but like it was reported, it was done remotely. But now I will say that that is true. But here's where, again, it gets dicey as it's written here. The exit meetings were reportedly held remotely due to fear of further spread. I thought the entire Suns team was vaccinated and stuff. And I'm not trying to start like a political war here and COVID and vaccines and all that stuff, but I'm like, I just don't see James Jones, Monty Williams, his whole coaching staff, the Suns, trainers and doctors. I don't see how COVID, like an outbreak as it's being reported, could have bothered the Suns that much in Game 7. Now, do I believe maybe one player was sick? Sure, because it says, and I'm sure no one protested, because once you get, I can't read that word, in Game 7 at home, the last thing you want to do is drag your ass back to the front office and talk about it. Now, there was another quote in here. I don't know if I screenshotted it. I think it was reported like one player was sick or something like that. Here's my thing, you guys. Again, I'm not trying to talk politics here. I'm not trying to sound like a doctor. I don't know everything about COVID. I don't know what it's like to be a professional basketball player playing with any kind of a sickness. But there's no damn excuse. There is no excuse. Unless maybe it's like, let's say in the future we find out and we have actual evidence that most of the team was sick. Maybe then. But again, I'm going to use my NBA history here. I'm going to sound like I don't know what I'm going to sound like, but Michael Jordan played with the flu. I think it was 1997, 98, played with the flu, that famous flu game. He was just exhausted, drenched on the bench. Scottie Pippen was holding him on the way to the bench. There's no excuse. And I've said this to people I've talked to my family, to friends. It's not that the Suns lost. It's the way they lost. So if this story, which you see it on the screen, the Athletic is reporting that it's COVID and all that, and who knows what if the Suns broke any violations and all that, which I doubt that part. I just don't see that being an excuse, because what was kind of the controversial topic a little bit throughout the season was like, should Chris Paul play injured? Should Devin Booker play injured? Should whoever play injured? These guys love to play. So if they were sick, they're probably like, it's game 7. We absolutely have to play. But it was like they stopped showing up. We lost this series in game 6. We lost this series in game 6, you guys. Let's be real. We played like crap in game 6, and we didn't even show up for game 7. So again, I don't know what it's like to be a professional basketball player and play with COVID or even just any kind of sickness. I don't know what it's like to be a professional basketball player and play with an injury. But if that's the real excuse, that's the reason the Suns lost is because we had COVID, I'm calling bullshit on that. Now, my guy Flex from Jersey, whether you're a fan of him or not, that's my guy right there. He does know people throughout the NBA. He has his sources. He has people that he knows. He did an interview with, I think it was like a Portland radio station and all that. And he basically just said the Suns just ran out of gas, plain and simple, which that could go back to COVID-related illness, maybe. But he also said Chris Paul was just mentally and physically drained. That makes me nervous. But like Devin Booker, he didn't show up. And I could say some things about Devin Booker you guys may not like. This offseason is going to be nuts, you guys. That's all I got to say. So I hope that I kind of said my piece. Oh yeah, let me just say one more thing about this COVID thing. The player who contracted COVID wasn't named, and it's being reported that 5 staff members also were infected. Apparently, Dallas had heard of the outbreak as early as Game 5, and if the Mavericks knew about it, there's a possibility that the NBA knew as well. I probably should have started off with that. I apologize, but you guys get my point. I don't know how I feel about this COVID thing. If it was one player, if it was 5, if it was the coaching staff, there's just still no excuse, unless, God forbid, unless every player on the Suns had some kind of an injury and that's why we played so crappy, then sure, maybe I can be like, yeah, that's the reason we lost, because we were all injured. But the way we went out, you guys, was absolutely pathetic. Let's get caught up on some comments here, because I see a couple of great people in here. You're all great people. If you're all watching me, wasting your time, listening to me rant and vent, you guys are all awesome. Let me know how the internet connection is right now, because I'm seeing my little icon pop up and it's low. Let me know how it is. Let's see. So you're saying I can't trade override a Tony Bradley, DeAndre Ayton sign and trade swap? Oh, God. My guy, Super Mario Hoops, hates Tony Bradley with an absolute passion. By the way, random story about Tony Bradley. I met him at Summer League. He was very nice. He was tall. His dad was there, and his dad was really cool, too. I'll have to send you that picture, Super Mario Hoops. That was a few years ago, too. Sawbuck says, I don't know if it's true or not, but blaming COVID doesn't seem so bad. I don't know. I just really don't know how I feel about this whole COVID story. Let's see. Sawbuck says, being in the lottery was a lot of fun. It was like Christmas every year during the draft, except for we mostly got crappy presents. That is an elite comment. I love it. That was so good. Oh, man. Let's see. Ooh, Super Mario Hoops brings up a good point here. And maybe he wasn't allowed to talk about it, but I kind of see Super Mario Hoops' point here. He said, to be honest, it sounds a bit exaggerated. He's talking about the Suns' COVID rumors. Mikal Bridges was on JJ Redick's podcast last week, and he didn't even address this once as anything that was happening behind the scenes. You do make a great point. And by the way, I love Mikal Bridges and everything, but he said something during that interview that kind of bugged me. And maybe I have to go back and re-listen to what he said. Maybe I heard it and I took it the wrong way. But he said something along the lines of like, when we would shoot and miss shots, the Suns fans would be like, oh, what are we supposed to do, Mikal Bridges? Cheer that you missed? I don't know. Like when he said that, it just bugged me. Maybe I need to go back and like re-listen to. Maybe he didn't mean it like that, but the way he said that, I was just like, come on, dude. Like, of course we're gonna react, man. I don't know. That just kind of bugged me. But I will say, love him or hate him, love or hate JJ Redick. I think his podcast is really good, although he is the biggest Bob Cousy hater and as a fan of NBA history, that pisses me off, to be honest. But he really does do a great job with this podcast, and he's got great guests on there and everything. So um, let's see. Let's see. Shout out to my guy Reliable Rants, who says MJ's flu game wasn't actually the flu. He was hungover. There's evidence. You might be right. I heard it was food poisoning. I don't know. You guys get my point, though. If it is real evidence, look at the film and look how exhausted he looks. So, and yeah, my guy Roy sums it up perfectly. The Suns lost bad. It's just that simple. Whether it was COVID, whether it was injuries, whether it was just locker room falling apart right in front of our eyes, we lost. And again, it wasn't the way we lost, or sorry, it wasn't the fact that we lost. It was the way we lost. Go back on YouTube and watch those quote highlights, which is really just a Dallas Mavericks practice game, because they literally just ran over us. It was horrible. And look, I love NBA history. I love basketball. You know, before the Suns got Chris Paul and started making the playoffs and everything, I would watch the playoffs as much as I possibly could. I would watch the finals. I would be invested. After we lost, I shut my brain off from basketball for the most part. I obviously would like Google what's going on with the Suns and breaking news and all that, but I didn't care to watch any of the West or East finals. I had no motivation to. I had no reason. I just shut it off. I won't lie. I did watch game 1 of the NBA finals. Kind of. I had it on in the background. Wasn't fully invested. That was a good game. But since then, haven't watched it because I've been paying attention to draft stuff, which we're probably going to talk about later. I've been just living my life because I'm just like, I don't care. The Suns aren't in it. And again, it was the way the Suns went out. So that's my rant about the NBA finals. Reliable Rant says also the problem with the Suns this year was the lack of bench depth, honestly. Kind of glad that he brought that up. He also follows up with, you didn't have a consistent player that can come off the bench and make up for a lack of production on either side of the ball. A big reason you made the finals last year was because of campaign. Exactly. I'm kind of glad that he brought this up because I wonder if continuity killed us. James Jones and Monty Williams are so big on continuity, and I get it. It worked during the regular season. Maybe for some other teams, it will work. But I wonder if that's actually what killed us. Now, obviously, Campaign, who had a pretty good season at times, for him to go all the way up and then just completely get down and get benched, that didn't help us. Now, if campaign was playing good, would we still have won? I don't know. If DeAndre Ayton was playing at 110%, would we still have won? Maybe we would have beaten the Mavs. I don't know if we'd be in the finals though. But I wonder if continuity killed us. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I wonder if Monty Williams loves and trusts his players a little too much. Just saying. Reliable rants. I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for your comments. Whoa. Sorry, my chat just refreshed, so I'm getting caught back up here. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Let's talk about DeAndre Ayton. Oh man, we've been talking about DeAndre Ayton all off season since what? Like I don't know. Iverson Vlog says, as I take a sip of my Sprite, Geek. For some reason, I see DA heading to Detroit for Grant and Stewart, but I wouldn't mind Jakob Poeltl and Devin Vassell and a draft pick. Now, my guy Flex from Jersey was kind of the first one that brought up just a trade idea, just a trade scenario of Jakob Poeltl, who was a serviceable center, and Devin Vassell, who was a high lottery pick and a player that a lot of teams could use in the league, and a draft pick. Now, for those of you who care, and I have no clue, I have no inside sources, I have no knowledge or analysis of what I think the Spurs are going to do. But, and this is so unspurs like, in my opinion, at least not the old school Spurs. What's it been, 3 years since they've made the playoffs? They have 4 picks this year. I actually want to make a video about this, talking about like teams that have a whole bunch of picks and what I think they could do with them. Spoiler alert, probably going to do that video soon because the draft is in a few weeks. Spurs have picks 9, 20 from the Raptors. They have picks 25 from Boston. Spurs also have pick 38 from the Clippers, from the Lakers, and somehow that ended up in Chicago and then Washington or something like that. So I have no clue what they're going to do. I just know this, is that Greg Popovich is obviously royalty there. And I do know this, if Greg Popovich does not like you, if you do not work hard, if you do not practice hard, if you don't get along with him, you're gone. So is DeAndre Ayton a Spurs player? Probably not. Not if Greg Popovich is there. Would I like Jakob Poeltl and Devin Vassell on a pick or 2 for Ayton? Sure. Would I like Jeremy Grant and Isaiah Stewart? And who? I don't know. I do know the Pistons has some very bright young prospects, very nice, talented roster. They could be good in a few years. And this is the first off season where I just don't know what the Suns are going to do. There's just so many question marks. Ooh, and I wish I would have screenshotted it. But my guy Flex from Jersey, let me see if I can pull it up. He said something along the lines of like Shamet and Cameron Payne might be players to watch on draft day, do their contracts. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Give me a second here. I apologize, guys. Let me know in the comments what kind of trade you would want to see for DeAndre Ayton. There's a poll on the chat right now. Excuse me. If you guys want to vote, if we should sign or trade DeAndre Ayton. So my guy Flex from Jersey on June 7th tweeted out, the contracts of Campaign and Landry Shamet are valuable to teams looking to shed long-term contracts for shorter deals. Payne has $2 million guaranteed in 2023-24, and Shamet has no money guaranteed after 23 and 24. Pacers and Hornets are teams to watch on draft day. This has nothing to do with DeAndre Ayton's restricted free agency. Speaking of the Pacers, they have a lot of assets and players and contracts they could do. They could be real players this offseason. They could do so much if they wanted to. I would actually love to be the Pacers owner or a fly on the wall in their GM, their front offices, because that would be fun. They got the greatest Suns rookie ever in Jalen Smith. Don't forget that. So let's get caught up on the comments here. Geek, would you be happy if DA got traded for Paul George? Yeah, but the Clippers are not going to trade Paul George, in my opinion. But I've always loved Paul George. Oh, my guy Romp 2.0 is here to bring us back to reality and to humble ourselves, as he says. At least Doc Rivers ain't your head coach. Oh, man, I don't even know. If you guys want some real, honest, great analysis and insight on the Sixers, check out my guy Romp 2.0. He has a Sixers channel called Sixers Talk with Romp. Go check it out. He does great stuff. Yeah, and Howie confirms what I said earlier. Jordan's flu game was a tainted pizza from Jazz fans. Exactly, is food poisoning. Let's see. Let me get caught up on here. Jason Robbins makes a good point too here. Cam Johnson didn't look like himself when he came back from the injury. Exactly. And that was before the playoffs started. I 100% agree with you on that. All right. Let's keep going here. Let me get back to my topics. Oh, I'm losing track here. Give me a second, guys. Yeah, so DeAndre Ayton, I honestly just think, and there's a lot to this, you guys. If we sign and trade DeAndre Ayton, it's just gonna keep making the Phoenix Suns look bad, and we already look pretty miserable right now. And everyone's gonna go back to you should have drafted Luka, you should have drafted Trae Young, and I get it. Especially now, since all these reports are coming out that Ayton doesn't want to be here and him and Monty Williams had issues and it's unlikely that he comes back. I feel like I might be the only one left saying this. And I'm not saying DeAndre Ayton was the right pick because Luka shut me up. Luka proved Luka was already a superstar before the Suns and Mavs series, but Luka proved to me that he is an elite superstar and that I don't know. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is just don't forget where the Suns were when we drafted Ayton. And someone made this point too, that I don't think Monty Williams was even the head coach. Yeah, he wasn't, because it was Igor Kokoshkov, who was, I think, now an assistant with the Mavericks or something like that. By the way, I have a small theory about another reason we lost to the Mavs, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But remember, Igor was our coach. James Jones wasn't even our GM. He was like our assistant GM at the time. And I'm not saying that's the excuse, but I'm just saying, remember where the Suns were when we drafted DeAndre Ayton. The only thing is the basketball narrative people out there, the national media, and even Suns fans will forget about that. They'll say, well, we should have drafted Luka. Should have done it. He's a superstar. He could have led us to a championship with Booker. DeAndre Ayton sucks. He doesn't want to play here. He doesn't give 110% all the time, which is true. That's going to be the conversations that we're going to have for years to come. But I will always repeat what I just said. Don't forget where the Suns were when we drafted Ayton. We had won 18 games. Ayton was right in our backyard, literally at U of A, even played high school basketball in Phoenix or in Arizona. And he seemed like the safe pick. He seemed like a surefire thing. Maybe we should have took those reports about like his motor and him giving 110% in college, maybe we should have took those more seriously. I'm sure the Suns knew about it going in, but yeah. So Luka's a superstar. And if the Suns do sign and trade Ayton, it will just make us look terrible. And I might start changing my tune a little bit. Maybe I'll say, he was the wrong pick and we should have drafted Luka and all that, but I don't know. So my theory here, now this is just a theory. I don't even know if it's a theory. It's just a thought. Another reason why we lost in the Mavericks, and this is my stupid theory. Forgive me here. I won't make this too long. Jared Dudley, an assistant coach for the Mavericks. Jason Kidd, obviously NBA Hall of Famer, one of the greatest point guards ever, knows Chris Paul very well. Igor Kokoshkov was our head coach in 2018. And I'm sure the Mavericks have other guys that know our team inside and out. That's another reason I think we lost. Now you're probably like, what are you talking about, Suns? You're talking crazy. Guess what? Willie Green, the Pelicans head coach, knew this team inside and out because he was our assistant coach for a few years. Who else on the Pelicans knew us? There was somebody else that I'm completely forgetting. But you guys see my point? These two teams knew us inside and out. And I think they took what they knew and they just kicked our fucking ass. The Suns lost, plain and simple. But that's just kind of my theory. I feel like in a few years, I'll be saying the same stuff. I'll be saying, here's another reason why we lost is because, Igor Kokoshkov was our assistant coach and Jared Dudley knew how to guard us. Because remember, Jared Dudley was on this team for years and knew Devin Booker and all that. And Willie Green was the head coach during that first round against the Pelicans, and he knew us inside and out. He knew all of our secrets. He knew how to attack Ayton and attack Booker and all that. So I don't know. I'm ranting here. I'm just chatting. If you guys want some great basketball content, go follow my guy Hawks Hoops. He's also on TikTok. He does great TikTok content, but he's been doing live streams on his channel, covers the NBA, and every time I listen to him, I'm like, dude, I think just like you in terms of basketball. So shout out to Hawks Hoops. Go support him. Go check him out. He's great. Again, check out my guy, Super Mario Hoops, who's in the chat. DeAndre Ayton to Luka is like Andrew Bogut to Chris Paul in the 2005 NBA draft, with all due respect. You know what? I liked Andrew Bogut, okay? I know he didn't live up to a number one pick, but there was potential there. I'm glad he won a championship, and he was a big part of that, 2015 Warriors team. I liked Andrew Bogut, but sadly, Super Mario Hoops, you are 110% right. We just have to face it. The Suns were in no position to gamble with all the picks that they just blew. Oh God. Don't even get me started, man. You guys know I'm Dragan Bender's biggest fanboy. Always will be. And even though I like Marquise Chris as a person, Marquise Chris was a mistake. Hawks Hoop says, thanks for the love. He also says that coaching theory makes some sense. Exactly. Because again, guys, at the end of the day, these coaches get paid millions of dollars to study our players and study their own players and find out their strengths and weaknesses and work on them. So I truly believe that. And you know what? There's just this, I wish I would have kept it in my thing here. There's this great clip of Jason Kidd, and he's literally he's mic'd up and he's just cheering and he's saying stay low, and guard him and switch. Jason Kidd has become a great coach. I'm not saying he's going to win coach of the year next year, and I was listening to him in not broadcast, in interviews and stuff, and Jason Kidd's a great coach. That's all I got to say. And Willie Green from the Pelicans is a great coach. And this is not Suns related, but Ime Udoka from the Boston Celtics is a terrific coach. And whether they win or lose, I'm so glad that the Celtics made it to the finals. It would have been nice to see a Suns Celtics finals. It would have been a 76 rematch. Yeah, so that's my rant there. Let's keep going here. We'll kind of open it up to the chat. Maybe we'll talk about the Suns. I would say Suns draft, but we don't have a pick this year. Maybe I'll talk about some of my favorite prospects. We'll answer some questions and maybe I'll rant about some other stuff and then we'll kind of call it. So, um, let's see here. Dallas just worked the Suns. That's it. Exactly. There's just no excuse, you guys. That's all I gotta say. Um, Not to mention Dallas locked up Booker, and seeing the Suns not have an answer for that was saddening. Thanks for bringing this up. And I'm not trying to sound like a Devin Booker hater or anything here. Booker, I really hope that Devin Booker, as we speak, is working on his game. Because sure, when you're locked up and you're defended like that and you can't get shots to go in, you're going to look like a completely different player. I hope the whole Suns team is working on their game and trying to improve their game. But I think Booker still has a little bit more to go. Was he great during the regular season? Yes. At one point, was he playing like an MVP candidate? Yes. So were a lot of players. And maybe I was on the Devin Booker MVP hype train. I was. I've made tons of videos and content about it. But I really wonder if Devin Booker maybe needs to reach another level. And there's people out there that will say Booker's not even in his prime yet, which sure you're right, but like we're contenders. We've been contenders the last year or so, 2 years, 2 seasons. Now's the time to step it up because who knows how long Chris Paul is going to be here? Who knows how long Chris Paul is going to play at a great level? Who knows if DeAndre Ayton's going to be here next year, which I give that a 40% or less. Who knows what our team's going to look like this season? Which, by the way, I could spend an hour talking about that. Like, I don't know who's going to play for our team next year because there's so many contracts and trades that could go down and players. I don't know. But where was I going with that? I just think Booker needs to take it to another level. And I really hope that these players are working on their games and sure, you know, you need time to rest your body and recover from injuries and apparently recover from COVID because that story broke, you know, we just talked about. By the way, the one thing I didn't mention is the timing of that story being released is weird. I mean, what? We're a few weeks away from the Suns being eliminated, maybe longer, like a month or so. I don't know. I don't know, you guys. You guys tell me. You guys know. You guys be the GM of the Suns. You guys tell me. You guys be the national media experts out there. You guys know. I really don't know. Anyways, let's get back to the chat here. Objective Geek Spittin' 100 says Super Mario Hoops. William, I see your comment, but I just don't want to comment on it about Chris Paul. By the way, guys, we're not trading Chris Paul. It's not happening. And if it is, if we do trade Chris Paul, which we're not, that would just be insane. And who knows what we'd get for him, but we're not trading Chris Paul. I'm sorry, guys. It's just not happening. Devin Booker needs to play better now and prove to the league that he's still a good player. He is a great player. He's an all-star, but maybe there's a difference between superstar and all-star, you know? I don't want to butcher your name, so I'll just say your last name. Ortiz says, by the way, watching from Mexico, love the Phoenix Suns basketball. Shout out to you, man. Thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody who's watching here, and let me know where you guys are all from. I really appreciate that. You guys are all awesome. I appreciate you listening to me rant and vent. You guys are awesome. Hawks Hoop says, I agree. I think Booker can take his game to another level, and I think the Suns are going to need him to do that sooner rather than later. Exactly. Now, you know, Booker, by making the All NBA first team, He is now eligible for a 5-year, $210 max extension or something. Either way, he's going to get extended, and Booker's going to probably be here for the rest of his career unless things just keep collapsing. And if the Suns go back to the old Suns, where players are going out left and right. But my point being is that Booker can sign this extension and Booker can keep building his resume as the greatest Phoenix Sun of all time, which when he retires, he probably will be. I still kind of think he needs to win a few more awards here and there, but he's going to have all the records. He's already going to be the Suns' leading scorer maybe in a few years. I think I forgot where he's at on the Suns' all-time scoring list, but he's going to have tons of records, and everything he's done in his career so far for the Phoenix Suns, he's going to be the greatest Phoenix Sun ever. And look at my wall. There's some legends on here. But yeah, he's going to be one of the greatest Phoenix Suns ever. So let's see. Quote, "You guys be the GM," end quote. Well, as my first move as the Suns GM, I suggest we sign and trade DA to Chicago for a 2025 second round pick. We need to stockpile draft picks like OKC does. Oh God, I could talk all day about what the OKC Thunder are doing, which, by the way, let me go to my draft notes here. The OKC Thunder have, I think, 4 picks in this year's draft, and they own the rights to 21 first-round picks and 34 total draft picks through 2028. Now, I was in Jake Fisher's little chat room podcast thing recently. I won't spend too much time on this because it's not Suns related, but he basically said he thinks that the Thunder are still going to tank this upcoming year and get another number 1 or top 5 pick and keep building those assets and then eventually trade those picks and compete. I think that's what he said. The Thunder are a mess. Sam Presti, trade some of those damn picks, get some veterans on your team, get some star caliber players. And as much as I like Adam Silver, he might need to intervene one day and say, your team needs to compete, or at least look like you're competing. Make the moves to look like you're competing, because it's getting ridiculous, OKC Thunder. But watch, they're going to like dominate the league in like 10 years or less because of all these assets and stuff they're getting. Anyways. Jason says, if I'm the GM, I'm trading DA to Indiana for Turner and that 6 overall pick. Then I'm taking that pick, Jay Crowder, Landry Shamet, Torrey Craig, and 1 more first for Pascal Siakam. I liked where you were going, but I didn't like the ending of that, Jason. But hey, everyone has their own opinion. So in the if you guys are watching this afterwards, let me know in the comments, what's your craziest DeAndre Ayton trade that you would do? Like I said earlier in this live stream, the Pacers are going to be some players during this offseason. They could do a lot. And I made a whole video about, Miles Turner. I think Chris Duarte was rumored. Malcolm Brogdon was rumored at one point, and a pick. I just think that if the Suns sign and trade DeAndre Ayton, both teams need to win. Plain and simple. We need to be like, Suns fans need to be maybe even surprised about what some of this package will be. And it's going to be a package. Unless it's like, I'm just throwing a name out here. Unless it's like Kevin Durant. I'm just throwing a name out here. Unless it's Kevin Durant, it's going to be a package, And there's other superstars that the Suns could trade for, but both teams are going to have to win. And whatever team is going to get DeAndre Ayton, I really hope that they know all the stuff that's going on about the reported video game playing and his motor and the stuff with Monty Williams. So I don't know. I really don't know. Um, I think that's it, guys. I think we're probably going to call it unless somebody just pops in with a great question or a comment that I could go for another 10-minute rant on. I think we'll end it. I think this was a good live stream. I had a lot of coffee today and I was like, man, I had a good day at work. And I'm like, I just want to go live and rant about some sun shit. I was kind of feeling lazy. I didn't really feel like editing a video. It's like, man, I'm just going to turn on the camera and just let loose. So if I said anything that you guys disagree with, I apologize. This is just my honest thoughts. Also, you guys, before you guys go, I did a poll on social media, on my Twitter. It's even on my YouTube community page and all that. And a lot of people got back to me. I think at one point it was like 50% yes. I would have to check the Twitter stuff. I'm debating if I want to start a second channel because of that way I can like right now on this poll 71% of people say yes I should, and then 19% of people say I should upload all the videos to my son's Geek channel. I was debating on starting a second channel so I could do vlogs, talk about movies, talk about whatever, show you guys some stuff, do collection videos. Now, all the Suns collection videos I want to obviously upload on here. But I'm really thinking of starting a second channel, probably because I'm bored and it's the off season and there's nothing going on. I tried to do it last year, but I just in 2021, but I just wasn't consistent. But I'm like, I love creating content. I love making videos. I'm like, would you guys want me to start a second channel? Uh, and first off, I'm flattered that you guys watch me and that you guys listen to me rant and you guys subscribe. I'm flattered. I appreciate it. I love you guys. But I'm like, I might want to kind of expand my horizons and film vlogs and film collection videos. And let me know if you guys want me to do that. Tweet me, Sons Geek on Twitter. Hit me up on Instagram. You guys see the little thing, the ticker going down there. And just let me know. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, you guys. If I do start a second channel, it'll probably be on a random day, and I'll probably just have a few videos on there. But speaking of other kinds of content, a lot of people, well, I say a few people have said, "Hey, Sons Geek, you should do a Suns hat collection video." Which, by the way, I did that in 2020. It was in May of 2020. This was when the NBA was obviously still shut down and there was nothing going on. I've bought in a lot of Suns hats since that video, and I really do want to do a updated Suns hat collection video. And there's some other Suns stuff I want to show you guys. Now, obviously, those videos in terms of views don't do so well. I'm like, I don't care. I like making those kinds of videos. So stay tuned. You guys want a Suns hat collection video? Let me know. And let me know about the second channel. Tweet me, message me. I'm just, at the end of the day, you guys, I'm a normal guy. I'm a normal person. And I don't know. So I just love creating Phoenix Suns content. I love creating content in general. And I want to keep doing this forever. So make sure to Hulk smash that like button, you guys. Please subscribe. I'll answer one final question here. First off, we'll get to one comment. I love your content and don't be scared to try something new. I would love it. Sending you positive vibes. Stay up. Well, thank you so much, man. God bless you, bro. I appreciate you. Super Mario Hoop says, I need to get my second channel going. I tried it for about a week in March and then forgot about it. Same here. I think I uploaded 3 videos to that channel. I had 24 subscribers, which, by the way, if you're subscribed, you're a legend. But I had 24 subscribers and then I just stopped uploading. It's I don't know. Where was that question though? Somebody had a decent question. Bro, you do have some hats that I want. Thank you. Oh, I don't think it was a question. It was this. Also, I would enjoy a podcast about your NBA opinions. Yeah. Maybe we'll do that on the second channel, guys. Maybe I'll talk other NBA related things. By the way, I think I'm going to upload a draft type video to this channel. You know, obviously the Suns aren't in the draft this year, but I have some thoughts on what I think certain teams could do or the possibilities to it. So, all right, guys, that's it. Maybe stay tuned for a second channel. If you guys are watching this afterwards, Hulk, smash that like button. Love you guys. I know that live streams are kind of my Achilles heel. I need to do more of them. So stay tuned. More Suns content on the way. And you guys are all awesome. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hulk, smash that like button and please subscribe. And once I can find my button, I will see you guys next time.